We have a really, really interesting development when it comes to the attempted insurrection or the diet coup at Capitol Hill. Look at this. So Rashida Tlaib said the following: I'm leading the call for national security powers to not be expanded in light of the attack on our nation's capital that occurred 2 weeks ago, as such measures often lead to the erosion of Americans' civil liberties. And so she writes this long letter. It's a beautiful, eloquent letter where she lays out this case. And then you could see there, here are the other Democrats who signed it: Earl Blumenauer, Ro Khanna, Jamal Bowman, Barbara Lee, Pramila Jayapal, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Mondaire Jones, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley. So here's what we have to say about this. Now, listen, we're tough on these guys when they do wrong stuff, as we should be, right? We should say, hey, you're incorrect about this, and here's what you need to do to fix it. But this is an instance where this takes genuine political courage, what they're doing here. And so they deserve a pat on the back, and they deserve a thank you for this. Because what they're doing is they're saying, listen, we saw what happened on Capitol Hill. We saw the insurrection, the diet coup attempt. We know that there are extremist groups in this country, right-wing militias in this country. You know, we know that there's a growing threat of right-wing terrorism. We know that there's, you know, a reemergence of some factions of white supremacist terror. And this is a real problem, but, we don't need a Patriot Act 2.0. We don't need more domestic surveillance capabilities, because that is what the intelligence agencies and that is what the establishment wants to use this for. They want to use what happened at Capitol Hill, the attempted insurrection, the diet coup. They want to use that to more closely monitor the American people, to track every move you make, every phone call you have, every text message. They want to give themselves more complete and utter domination, control, and they want to pacify the population more. Basically, what they want is a Patriot Act 2.0. The way that we eroded civil liberties in the wake of 9/11 was unbelievable. And now any reasonable person who looks back on it says, whoa, what the fuck were we thinking? That in the wake of 9/11, all of the actions were insane. And they were over the top, and they eroded civil liberties and your constitutional rights. And so now, even though the Capitol Hill insurrection just happened, wasn't that long ago, you already have some lawmakers with the political courage to step up and say, no Patriot Act 2.0, no more domestic surveillance capabilities. In other words, they're saying, hey, use the capabilities you already have and do your goddamn job if you want to stop something like this from happening. Do standard police work, standard intelligence work. You don't need to erode civil liberties more. You know, the laws that are already on the books are sufficient to go after the people who broke the laws. You know, and a lot of these people, to their credit, they're also against the original Patriot Act. That's the correct position. Because the NSA can spy on everybody. The NSA can spy on everybody, collect everybody's metadata, and they abuse that to no end. We learned through Edward Snowden, through his leaks, that you had people at the NSA who were spying on their love interests. The exact type of abuse of power that you would expect is exactly what went on. There was a laundry list of insane abuses that happened. And now you have, to their credit, these are left-wing lawmakers who are saying, even though it's my political enemies who are out there at Capitol Hill, I want to protect their civil liberties. That's what I want to do. I want to protect their rights. I want to protect the Constitution. I care about due process. So listen, nothing but credit to Rashida Tlaib. Every lawmaker who signed that bill, they see the whole picture. They see how this can be used towards nefarious ends to give the intelligence agencies more power to erode civil liberties in the Constitution. And they're against it. They're standing up against it. So I give them a lot of credit. Every one of them. I want to repeat it. Rashida Tlaib, colossal credit, amazing letter. I recommend you read the whole thing. Earl Blumenauer, Ro Khanna, Jamal Bowman, Barbara Lee, Pramila Jayapal, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Mondaire Jones, that's my congressperson. Shout out to Mondaire Jones, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley. You guys did a great thing here, and you deserve a lot of credit. And by the way, as Glenn Greenwald was pointing out on Twitter, I suspect you're going to see an alliance on this of not just these left-wing, like Justice Democratic lawmakers. You're also going to see a lot of civil liberties-concerned, libertarian-leaning Republicans sign on to this. They're going to say, okay, listen, we're all against the attempted insurrection and the diet coup and what happened, for sure. but we don't need a Patriot Act 2.0. We don't need to rip up the Constitution. We don't need to take away more rights and civil liberties. And so you're going to see a sort of alliance, and it's the same kind of thing. Hopefully, if the alliance develops, look out. Because this is what the establishment really fears. Because there are both right-wing lawmakers and left-wing lawmakers who agree we got to end the wars and we got to do it now. We got to legalize marijuana and end the drug war and stop locking up people for nonviolent activities. You know, there were some who were for the $2,000 checks. About 44 Republicans signed on with virtually every Democrat for the $2,000 checks. If you can actually get an alliance of anti-establishment left and right, and they work together on the good, positive things, that would be so important. Because here's what I can guarantee you. There is an alliance, and there always will be an alliance between the establishment Republicans and Democrats. And they'll always agree to deregulate Wall Street, to cut taxes for the rich. They'll always agree to continue the wars going. Liz Cheney and her merry band of neocon idiots and her Democratic supporters as well. So if they can work across the aisle to do shitty things, you can work across the aisle to do positive things. And don't let anybody ever shame you that, oh, you worked with Matt Gaetz on ending war, and Matt Gaetz, you know, said really terrible racist things or something, and so now you shouldn't try to get out of Afghanistan. Fuck all that noise. Don't listen to anybody with the bullshit arguments about you can't work with somebody on an issue where you agree with them because there are other issues where you don't agree with them. Well, good thing I'm not working with them on the issues where I don't agree with them then, right? So anyway, I think you get the gist of it. Massive credit to these lawmakers. This is 100% correct. No Patriot Act 2.0. You go after all the people who broke the law on Capitol Hill. You go after them with the laws that are already on the books. You don't need new laws. You don't need a Patriot Act 2.0. You don't need to rip up the Constitution and rights and protections and civil liberties. We don't want more power going to these intelligence agencies. You need to weaken the intelligence agencies. They're already too powerful.